Blame looks so weak on a man. In fact, if you're always blaming people, then here's a fun fact for you. Your children have 2 moms. Welcome to the Better Man Project, my friend. This is where we like to build strength for what matters. Today I'll be doing a 2-part workout. First part, strength and muscle building. Second part, conditioning and making me feel like I'm gonna die. What doesn't kill you only makes you stronger. Unless it makes you a quadriplegic, then you're still alive, but objectively weaker. And along the way, as I try to survive today's workout, I'll also be sharing with you what I think are the 3 most important habits for a man to build unbreakable character. Also share what's most essential for a man to delete from his life to build unbreakable character. Okay, part 1 of today's workout is just a very simple exercise couplet. This is gonna be in the muscle building 8-rep zone. I'm gonna be doing 8 reps of reverse pull-ups, followed by 8 reps of dumbbell bench press. Simple 3 sets on this and get us going. I'm ready to get started. A wise man once said, if you don't earn it as a man every day, you're gonna lose it. So, gonna start earning it, round 1. Nothing looks weaker on a man than blaming other people for what's wrong, what's hard, what's challenging, what's going the way you didn't expect. Because here's the deal, when a man blames someone else, he is making himself the victim of whatever he's blaming him for. In objective reality, it's inaccurate. To say it's someone's fault is for you to not have the term self-responsibility in your vocabulary. So not only is blaming people objectively inaccurate, not helpful, it's incredibly disempowering to yourself because you're saying, hey, I'm the victim. I'm the victim of what they did. And when people look at a guy who always makes himself the victim, they don't see a real man. But here's the secret. When you look at yourself, if you're making yourself the victim because you're blaming other people, you're not going to respect you either. At the world's most exciting exercise, but to me it always feels good to just move heavy weight relative to my strength. I'm working with 75-pound dumbbells today. That feels good. Round 2. Personally, if I just did this style training, only bodybuilding type exercises, I get so mentally bored. You don't get that character test that comes with just a big, ugly conditioning circuit. So I'm happy to be starting the workout just with, here's something heavy, move it up and down. You didn't perform well on today's exercises. Did you do this between sets? Oh no, that's what I forgot. That's important. Whatever. Feels good. When thinking about the habits that a man needs to have to build unbreakable character, and I'll share what I think are the 3 most important habits, I think it's first important to consider what habits to remove from your life if you want unbreakable character. So first I'll share the 3 habits that I think are absolutely essential to delete from your life if you want to be a man with good character. Third and final round coming up. And I think as men, we've got to take the responsibility and self-assess. Where do we give our power away by blaming other people? Do you blame your wife for why you're upset? Do you blame the president for your finances? His gas is more expensive. Do you blame your family for why you feel stressed out and tired all the time? In fact, blaming other people for how you feel, that's at the epitome of woke culture. That's why woke culture is so weak, it's so toxic. All it does is it celebrates how you can blame other people for what you don't like about your life. Like whatever, blame, if you're white, blame the blacks. If you're black, blame the whites. If you're a Republican, blame the Democrats. It's just blame, blame, blame. It is such a weak pussy system. Living your life, always looking for who to blame, instead of you owning it and figuring out how you're gonna fix it. And if you're playing the role of a victim by blaming, guess who's not fixing shit in his life? That'd be the victim. These weights feel heavy. It's not my fault. My parents, they didn't wink at me enough when I was a kid. It's caused trauma. Makes these weights feel heavier than they should. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. I did 10 just to try to beat the victim out of me. Well, that's segment 1 of today's workout. Complete, all things considered, pretty easy. Certainly requires a lot of effort to move the weight, move the body on the pull-ups, but comparatively to what's coming up, it's pretty easy. But feels good just to get a nice spoonful of muscle building exercises in before we switch to what's going to be primarily conditioning with a little supplementation of strength building in there. All right, about to hit part 2 of this workout. It's a conditioning circuit. Brought the toys out to the driveway to play. I'm going to be doing heavy farmer's carries, followed by kettlebell cleans, 15 each arm, followed by chest passing the ball, chasing it, doing 6 reps of that, get a little kind of jogging run action, followed by a 15 calorie sprint on the assault bike, doing this for just 3 rounds. And by heavy farmer's carries, I brought my trap bar out. Normally, like, I'll do farmer's carries with kettlebells. My heaviest kettlebells are 32 kilos, so about 70 pounds. I want to go heavier than that. So I've got 210 pounds on the bar. I'll be going about 50 feet just to get a little bit of a more strength element in there rather than endurance. So we should be sweatier after this than we are now. Say we, like it's some kind of royal statement. We are about to get started. The second most important habit to delete to have unbreakable character is something I like to call, don't be a little bitch to your phone. People become so reactive to their phones, they just behave like an obedient little bitch to their phone. Wake up first thing in the morning, let me check it. I pledge my obedience to you. It dings, you act like a slave, you're obedient. The phone dinged, so I go to the phone. And what's that tell your kids, your wife, when your phone dings and you just react to it? What it tells them is, you're less important to me in this moment than my phone is. That's why I'm prioritizing it. We behave like little bitches with our phone without demonstrating the smallest amount of self-control. Like, cool, the phone dinged or it buzzed, but instead of being an emasculine man who's just obedient to a little object, a strong man, it's like an oak tree. We're grounded, we're rooted, we're calm, and we decide what's important to us. We have control over what we are treating as important. We'll give our power away by just reactive, but a real man, he knows what's important and lets his words and actions follow through accordingly. And personally, I notice when I see people just in the habit of being an obedient little bitch to their phone, man, I get so irritated. And I think I get irritated because I don't like seeing that display of weakness. And it probably irritates me because in my past, I was an obedient little bitch to my phone, letting other people's priorities prioritize how my attention is spent. What I like to do breaking this habit. I'm grateful I broke it. You know, if I have messages to send and my family's around, I'll excuse myself. I'll let them know I'm gonna go send a couple messages and I'll be right back. My phone buzzes, dings, who cares? I will get to it later when I determine it's appropriate to get to it. So don't be an obedient little bitch to anybody, especially your phone. Round 2. Third habit to break for any man is the habit of laziness. Laziness is choosing to avoid doing something when you know there's something beneficial that you could be doing. And yes, we all need time to decompress, but honestly, we don't need as much time as we tell ourselves. And when people are being lazy, it's not decompression time, it's avoidance. And nothing will evaporate people's respect for a man faster than when they see a man being lazy. And just remember, that's how you see you as well. So laziness, hit the delete key on that. The heavy farmer's carries. Those remind me of a great story when my beautiful woman and I started dating. One of the first things she texted me was, "Can you firemen carry 145 pounds for 100 yards?" I was glad I could text back and say yes. But I love that. Told me so much about the type of woman she is. She's the type of woman who wants a man who is capable of protecting her, because she knows she deserves that. And it's my job to keep myself in shape so I can provide that. And here's the reality. Even if I never have to farmer's carry her 100 yards or whatever, she feels so good knowing I could. And I feel so good knowing my lady feels so good that I can do that. So my lady was after a better man. So I have to make sure I'm the better man. So when it comes to habits to deliberately implement to build unbreakable character as a man, number 1 is keep your word at all times. This means following through on what you tell other people you're gonna do and following through on what you tell yourself you're gonna do. Nothing will build a man's self-esteem faster than when you keep your word to yourself. With commitments, pledges, just fleeting thoughts, I'm gonna do this. All right, well then you better do that. And here's the thing, always keeping your word means you have to have better discernment in your thinking. Let's say you run into someone, you haven't seen them for a few months. They say, "Oh, you wanna get together for coffee sometime?" Don't say yes if you don't mean it. You have to have better discernment in your thinking. Example how this shows up for me. Dude, I love so many people. I don't have time for that many people though. So when someone runs into me, it's like, "Oh, JP, you wanna grab coffee sometime?" I'm honest with them. I wanna be impeccable with my words, so it starts with good discernment in my thinking. I don't just reactively say yes, then break my word, therefore break my character to myself and them. I'll let them know, honestly, I'd love to, but I can't. Right now, at least the next 3 months of my schedule with parenting and work, I just can't fit it in. Give me a text in a few months. Let's check in about that. Greener pastures can be found in the shade. So if your woman ever says, "Can you carry me 100 yards if you have to?" Like, sweetheart, I'll carry you 100 yards even if I don't have to. Second habit to relentlessly implement to build amazing man character is the habit of fitness. Habitualize your fitness. Don't leave it to a jackpot where you get to it once in a while, or you get to it only when you feel motivated, or you get to it only when it's easy. Now build the habit of fitness, because whether someone likes it or not, Your fitness, your body shape, what you see in the mirror, what other people see when they look at you, that's you wearing a badge of your habits. They can be good habits, full of discipline, or it can be a badge of lazy habits. Either way, your fitness level, it's a badge that teaches people to respect you or not. But more importantly, it's not about men getting other men to respect them. It's about men earning their own respect and the respect of our families. Fitness has to be a habit. Third habit, become a self-responsibility advocate, where you become the person scanning for where you can take self-responsibility. Where else in your life can you do this? Now, a self-responsibility advocate, this is the opposite of a blaming victim. Self-responsibility says, something wrong happened, something I don't like, something happened to me even. Self-responsibility says, it's my fault. How did I make this happen? How did I allow this to happen? Give an example, in my business years ago, I had an employee steal money from me, tens of thousands of dollars. I didn't like that. I didn't like that. So I blamed the other person for about 10 minutes. Then I quickly snapped into it and realized self-responsibility. This is actually my fault. Here's how it was my fault. I didn't have the oversight. I should have. I wasn't micromanaging. I wasn't even macromanaging. It was like, take care of that. I didn't have enough oversight and hands-on, eyes on my own business. It was 100% my fault that an environment was created where someone could steal from me. Something as simple as you're stuck in traffic. It's easy to blame the traffic because you're in the bad mood. Stupid city. No. Self-responsibility says this is my fault. When you scheduled the thing that had you driving in the city, you knew the concept of traffic existed. It didn't take you off guard. Maybe you weren't thinking of it, and whose fault was that? Even being stuck in traffic, unless you were driving there with a gun to your head against your will, that's your fault. And similar to me, you've probably been betrayed by someone. Maybe they did what your values and my values would say. They did something wrong. Great. But don't scapegoat your self-responsibility. Own it. Cool. I inaccurately assessed that person's character, and I created inaccurate expectations accordingly. That was my fault. I misjudged their character and had inaccurate expectations. That's my self-responsibility. Do I feel hurt by the betrayal? Yeah. Is it their fault? Nope. It's mine. So when it comes to habits, to delete like the plague from your life, if you want good character as a man, delete blame. Don't be a little bitch to your phone and delete laziness. And what to fertilize? Keeping your word, fitness, and self-responsibility. If you delete the first three, fertilize the second three, your character as a man will grow. It'll be stronger, I guarantee it. We're done with part 2. Man, these circuits, they always surprise me. They hit me, they're harder than I always think they're gonna be. So that was highly taxing. My heart rate was super elevated. It's 95 degrees out, being in the beating sun, doing these conditioning circuits, it had me gassed. I didn't like the feel of it, but I kept going anyway. You know, just the mantra of life. You don't like the feel of something, cool, don't avoid it, go into it. That's what I did. I'm glad to be done with that. And I'm grateful to say that does it for today's workout. Just a simple 2-part workout today. And hopefully this has given you something to think about. These ideas on the most essential habits to have in your life, to be a man with unbreakable character, what to delete from our life. This comes from my life experience, mistakes I've made, lessons I've learned, and all of it are things I'm still working on with my challenges. So hopefully this is giving you some food for thought, and as you digest it, hope you can get some nutrition out of it. And I'll look forward to seeing you on our next Better Man Project video, my friend. In the meantime, if you wouldn't mind, be sure to subscribe to my channel and in the comments below, Let me know something you're doing to earn it today, because as men, if we're not earning it every day, our strength, our body, our discipline, and self-respect will slip away. Let's not allow that to happen.